Hey guys, this is Alan from Quick Tropicals, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to actually get more fruit out of your citrus. If you have an orange tree, a lemon, a grapefruit, a kumquat, lime, whatever you have in the ground in the citrus family, this is going to help you out. Now you have to understand something when planting any citrus in the ground. Is your citrus grafted or is it grown from seed? If you have one grown from seed, there's really not much you can do to actually get more fruit out of it. All you gotta do is just wait. If you just put it in the ground, you can wait a few years before you actually see any flowers out of your citrus. And the first few flowers you get, they may not turn into fruit just because the tree is not all enough, or it's just because they're just starting to flower. Now the tree you see behind me, this is a grapefruit. It has been in the ground for almost, well, over 20 years now. And when we first moved into this house, it was almost dead. It took about 2.5 years for the tree to actually come back, and all we did was just water. Now, let's talk about today's topic, and that is how to actually get more fruit out of your citrus. Now, every year, springtime, depending on the night temperatures, you're going to get flowers. So, how many flowers depends on the condition of your tree. If your tree has been struggling, if it's been sunburned, if you just put it in the ground, if it's only been in the ground for a year or so, you may not get that many flowers, and there's really not much you can do about it. Now we're talking today about a healthy tree that's been in the ground for a while. So if you have any other problems with your tree, I'll make another video about it where we can talk more into details specifically about those conditions. Anyways, if your tree is healthy and you want more fruit, the main thing you need to do, guys, is prune it. Now it's a little tricky because you only have a window of pruning. So citrus usually here in Arizona, they ripen at the beginning of the year. You're looking at around, depending on the temperatures, January, February time. As soon as you pick your fruit, guys, before they flower in the spring, which here in Arizona happens in March, you want to prune it. How much? Well, that depends on how big your tree is. If it's only been in the ground for a little while, I'm talking about maybe a year, 2 years, I don't recommend pruning it that much. But if it's been in the ground, longer than that, then I would say between 10 to 25%, it's a good range. And usually what we do here is my wife, she likes to shape this tree with a round canopy because it looks nice. But it's also low enough to the point where the canopy actually shades the trunk. You never want to prune your citrus to the point where the actual main trunk is exposed to the full sun, especially if your temperatures in the summer get over 100 degrees. That will sunburn your tree, that will damage it, and then you will get the opposite effect. So when your tree is actually struggling, the first thing that's going to happen, guys, anytime, your fruit's going to drop. So if you got flowers and you forget to water, guess what just happened? You just lost all your fruit. And remember, the fruit takes almost a year to actually ripen, so you're going to have to wait another year. But anyway, so we keep the canopy lower to the ground so that way it gets shaded from the direct sun here in the summer. And then we'll also, if you look up, you can see the canopy is round and looking nice. Now, that's one of the reasons why we prune it. The second reason is because usually a lot of your flowers, they will come out of the new growth. So all this shiny new growth right here, it's not even a month old. All this just happened, guys. And now if you actually come here and look closer, you can see a lot of my flowers are actually turning into fruit. And then all those flower clusters are actually coming out of the new growth right here. So all those are going to be grapefruits next year. And it's all the way around the tree. So anytime you promote growth, what's going to happen is the new growth is also going to have flowers. So that's going to be one of the benefits of actually pruning your tree. There are flowers everywhere on the tree, all over. I probably got thousands and thousands of flowers. If you look on the ground, those are actually the petals from the flowers that got pollinated, and they're all over the ground. So yeah, so if you want more fruit out of your citrus, guys, just prune it. You don't have to go crazy, just a little bit, especially if you're just starting. Just go about 10%. Don't get too crazy about it, but you have to make sure you do it right before it flowers, because what's going to happen is, if your tree is flowering, guys, and you prune it, guess what just happened? You just prune all your flowers. So you don't want to do it too late. You want to do it at the right time, after you pick your fruit and before it flowers. How long before it flowers? I would say, in our experience, 3 to 4 weeks before it flowers is a safe zone to actually prune in. If you go a little later, you may prune a lot of your flowers off. If you go too early, then well, I guess you can't go too early. So as soon as you actually pick your fruit, just go ahead and prune it. That will promote new growth, and then that new growth is actually going to carry flowers. So, and guess what? More flowers, more fruit. But remember, your flowers are going to be dependent on the ambient temperatures around your plant. So it doesn't matter if you get millions of flowers. If you forget to water and your plant just wilted one day because you just put it in the ground, guess what just happened? You just lost all your flowers, no fruit for you. Let's say it's really windy, then the flowers are going to get blown away. No fruit for you either. They're not going to get pollinated. Let's say the flowers open and then it rains. Guess you just lost all your fruits too. So there are so many different variables out there that are going to dictate if you're going to get flowers or not, or fruit. But one of the ways you can actually increase your fruit production is going to be by pruning the tree. Now, a lot of people talk about fertilizers, sprayers, and all that. In my experience, guys, there's really nothing you can put in the soil to get more flowers out of your tree. If your tree has all the nutrients in the soil to actually get fruit, it will fruit as long as it's healthy. It will not actually give you more flowers, more fruit, just because you put some fertilizer in the soil. All we do here, guys, is just compost and mulch and then water correctly. So, and that's about it. So let's see. Yes, prune your tree right before it flowers, and then just you're dependent on the temperatures in your area. If you're colder in your area, obviously your flowers are going to happen later in the season, so just time it until usually once the night temperatures get about 50 degrees or so, that's when your citrus is going to start waking up and it's going to start flowering. 60 degrees, that's when they're actually truly flower. Colder night temperatures in the 40s, 30s, they're not going to flower yet. So it's all based on your local temperatures, guys. But anyways, hopefully this helps you out. If you have any questions, just comment below. If you like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.